Hey, remember when I said this? This is my last commentary on the whole Epstein Trump administration cover up.
That would be great.
Yeah, sorry, we're going to talk about it some more.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell. Click the word all. That'll give you a notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. It's the only way that we can get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Afternoon Drive. Let's do this. Oh yeah. Well, it's very clear if you look at the headlines. It's very clear if you look at what the media is not talking about. If you look at what Donald Trump is talking about, Donald Trump wants the whole Epstein, Pam Bondi to just go away. He wants you to focus on the good things that he's doing, and President Trump is doing some great things. I am a little concerned that he's not only done a 180 on Epstein, but now we're in the midst of doing a 180 on Ukraine. And he meets with the president of NATO, and we're going to arm Ukraine. And we know that the provocation that Russia took umbrage with, that caused them to cross the borders into Ukraine, was the fear that NATO was drawing Ukraine in to become a NATO ally, and that NATO defenses would be on the Russian border. And, you know, Mr. President, where was this whole, I want the people to stop dying. I want them to stop dying. Now you're using NATO to arm Ukraine, which is only going to enrage Russia. Are we trying to defuse this situation or escalate it? So there's that. And I don't think you understand how much your base hates that. But apparently, defiantly, you're taking to Truth Social over the weekend to defend Pam Bondi, completely ignoring the social media platforms, the alternative, conservative, online media. The only place you're getting good press on this, or I should say the absence of them hammering you on this, is the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media. And Mr. President, I would remind you that the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media is not where the vast majority of your supporters or this country gets its information from anymore. And that these online podcasters, the Tucker Carlsons, the guys that you're now kind of spatting with, don't bite the hand that feeds you, because they gave you the election. They gave you the platform. They gave you the ability to communicate your message to millions and millions of Americans. And part of your promise was the forthrightness of what was going to happen regarding Epstein. It is a big deal. When an absolute scumbag dirtbag does vile things to underage girls, and he has political leaders from both sides of the aisle, and not only in the United States, but other countries as well, these sick, twisted, pervert pigs committing heinous acts of pedophilia, yeah, it's a big deal. If you didn't want it to be a big deal, you shouldn't have made it a big deal. And you need to come to grips with the fact that your gal, Pam, didn't make this any easier on you. Constantly overpromising, and then underdelivering. However, even though the vast majority of conservative media, from Tucker Carlson to Megyn Kelly, are supporting Dan Bongino, because it was reported all weekend, and everybody from Benny Johnson to Megyn Kelly were talking about that Dan Bongino has said that if Pam Bondi stays, he's walking. And then there was an inference that maybe Kash Patel would walk as well. I'm going to give you a take that nobody else in conservative media is taking. Let all three of them walk. In fact, show them the door. This faux outrage that Dan Bongino has, that the leaked memo from last weekend, 4th of July weekend, that there is no there, that the DOJ is no longer looking into Epstein, it's a closed case, yet nobody signed off on it, even though Pam Bondi says that Bongino signed off on it, Kash Patel signed off on it. Nobody actually officially signed it. It was just sort of leaked to Axios. And now Dan Bongino is supposedly outraged and hasn't returned to work since Wednesday. The president says it's fine. Dan's fine. He said, Dan's a good man, but he said Pam is great. So we know where the president is siding on this, and we know that it's the president, obviously, ultimately, who made the decision. We're not taking this any further. I personally believe it's not because he himself was compromised, but that people he is close to and people he likes are severely compromised, and he just wanted to go through all that. And the way that could have all been avoided was just not to have allowed Pam to go out there and oversell and overpromise. They could have very easily said after they got in there, hey, look, the previous administration did everything they could to bury, lose, and destroy evidence. We wouldn't even know where to begin at this point. Unfortunately, this really vile man and his accomplices, it looks like they got away with it. But you overpromised, underdelivered, and now you're saying there's no there, get over it, get on with your life. Really? Really? Because Dan Bongino, I seem to recall, as you got Megyn Kelly and others defending you over your honesty and integrity, you came out and said these things.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal. Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, this is a big deal.
He killed himself. You want me to? I've seen the whole file. He killed himself.
Me thinks you're afraid now, because you've heard it from people like me and others, that your career as a podcaster are over, done, fine. In fact, even Tucker Carlson is saying that.
I know Bongino well. I think of him as a friend. I think he is a man of integrity, and I think his integrity remains pure because of his rage. Like, Dan's mad at lying. And so I don't know what's going on. And to be clear, he said, I know that Epstein killed himself because I've seen the evidence.
Even there, they're saying, like, look, I promise you we read the files. He killed himself. So then my question is, well, why can't we read those files?
Well, that is my question too. I would just say in the case of Bongino, I know Kash Patel, but I'm not like a friend of Kash Patel's. I'm a friend of Bongino's, and I do think that will come out. But I think big picture, DOJ is making a huge mistake, promising to reveal things and then not revealing them. And that gives the whole country a kind of moral blue balls at that point. And it's bad. It's really bad. It's going to cause a lot of hate. And second, I think that we underestimate the physical threat that people in Washington face. It's always like blackmail or ideological affinity that gets people. No, people are afraid of getting hurt. I mean, I know that's a component.
Let's not whitewash Bongino was part of this cover up, make it go away as well. When he sat there and backed up Kash Patel, he killed himself. He killed himself. It's not what he was saying on his podcast for 2 years, Dan. It's not what you were saying. It's not what Kash Patel was saying before the election. Yes, Pam Bondi tried to get the clickbait, the headlines, and she liked being on Fox News every night over dangling the possibility that the Epstein stuff was coming. And I'm sure Trump finally got all of you guys into the same woodshed and said, shut up about Epstein. So then she releases this memo. There is no there. That's not what when I said I had his file on his desk, I'm going to add all the files on my desk. So, Dan, you could try to pull back and say it was Pam Bondi that botched all this, and you can get Megyn Kelly to carry your water for you, and even to a certain degree, Tucker Carlson. But at the end of the day, you're part of this cover-up. Cash is part of this cover-up. Pam is part of this cover-up. And all of you need to be gone. Period. And Mr. President, what are you doing with Ukraine?